everybody. Welcome to Mrs. Elefante's virtual classroom, where science learning is fun.
Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Elefante again, and for today's video, I'm going to walk you through the acids and base lab. So first, you are going to open your Edgenuity lesson, and you go to Unit 5, Lesson 5 for the acids and bases lab. So same as we did before, you need to open your high school lab report guide, which I'm going to do it right now. And you will have a PDF form of the experimental overview questions with the pre-lab, the post-lab questions as well. And you are going to answer all the 11 questions right here. For you to write your lab report, you can answer the questions in paragraph form, which I'm going to explain in a little bit. Okay? Next is, of course, you need to open your rubric so you will know how I grade your lab report, and then the warm-up, the instruction, and the acids and bases virtual lab. So let's open that one right now.
For the concept of acids and bases.
So I just skipped the lesson, but for you guys, you need to listen to the instruction and what it is saying. So here are the materials that you need for this lab, but of course, this is a virtual lab. You do not need to buy the supplies. So third
Here
page.
are the list of the materials that you'll use in this virtual lab.
Okay, so like I said, you don't need to buy the supplies. Then it says here, do you have a copy of the student guide? You need to download the student guide, and it is a Word document. So you're going to open the Word document right here. Here you will find the hypothesis, the safety, the steps, and how to do this lab. And here you need to complete the data table. I'm just going to give you one example for each table for you to be guided accordingly. And then, as you notice here at the end, there are no questions. It's just plainly lab or data collection. The questions are written on the first study guide that you downloaded, but I have created one full document for you to download, so it will have all the questions already. So you go to your message board, and then go to Physical Science, and go to Portfolios. It says Acids and Bases Lab. I already uploaded one for you. And then you go ahead and download the correct document. Okay, so this is the document. And as you can see, you still have the pre-lab information, the lab procedures, and the chart. Now, below the chart, here's the chart. Below the chart, at the end are the questions that you need to answer. These are the same questions for every lab that you do because this is how you state your lab report. But there are two ways on how to answer this question. The first one is to answer it question by question, but it should be in a complete sentence, short paragraph. Probably 2 to 3 sentences will do for every question. Do not answer yes or no, and do not give me an answer, just a one-word answer or a phrase. It must be a complete sentence based on your experiment. Another way to answer is to write a paragraph for every section. So for example, here section 1 is experimental overview. So just write 2 to 3 sentences for the first question, followed by the next question, another 2 to 3 sentences, and so on. So here you can create a paragraph, a really short paragraph for section 1. Next paragraph would be for section 2, and then section 3, and so forth. In other words, you can create one full page for all these questions, and that is how you write your lab report. For questions here, what is the purpose of the lab? Go back to the very first page of this document so you can get the answers to the questions. And also, you can answer this when you complete the experiment. You would know what is the purpose of the lab, what's the important topic, and what question are you trying to answer. Okay, and here there's a question that says, what methods are you using to test this experiment? So you would say quantitative method, which involves data collection, involves numbers, or you can say qualitative method, which involves description of your data or your results. Okay, and then if it's asking you what do the key results indicate, answer it based on your experiments. All right, so it should be relevant to whatever you're doing, whatever experiment you're conducting, and these questions are relevant to each other, so please answer it accordingly. All right, So I am going to walk you through just a few examples of this experiment. So let's go ahead and open the page. So the beginning is on page 4. So in this step, you will create a model solution for pH. And the pH is 7. The black beans will represent the hydrogen ions. The brown beans represents the OH or hydroxide ion. It says click or tap the bag of black beans to add 50 of the beans to the beaker. So you just simply click the bag and it will have 50 beans inside the beaker. And then it says click the bag of white beans to add 50 beans to the beaker. And then here, I'm just going to read this real fast. It says drag the steering rod and mix the beaker. And then you are going to draw the picture of what you see in appropriate row, pH 7. Okay, now you are going to draw the sketch here. Whatever you see here, the beaker and the beans inside here on this column. And then just click continue. It says here drag the steering rod again to mix it. The reason for mixing is because it should be a solution where all the solutes will be dissolved in the solvent so that you will have the correct concentration. And then go to the next page.
Now, find the actual ratio of H+ ions to OH- ions at a pH of 7 using the ion concentrations listed in Table B of your student guide.
Okay, so here, guys, notice it says pH 7. Another important thing is you notice what kind of ion is that for this box. It's here plus H+ ions or hydrogen ions, pH 7. Then you go to Table B. So here the pH is 7, right? It's asking for 7, so you go to 7. And hydrogen ions, this one, this hydrogen ions, this number right here, you are going to copy and paste it here. Okay, there. And then here, it says pH 7 of the hydroxide ion or the OH, which is this one, OH. And same thing, it's 7. By the way, 7 is the neutral pH. So you put that there. Next is you are going to divide to get the ratio. Divide the concentration of the hydrogen ions divided by the concentration of hydroxide ions at pH 7. Notice that they are the same number. So if you divide the same number, you will just get 1. Okay, so where do you put the data on Table A? So here is this is your calculated. Let's do approximate first. How many beans did you put in the beaker? The black beans. 50, right? So you put 50. How many of the brown beans did you put in the beaker? It's 50 as well. So divided by 50. So that means your approximate ratio is equal to 1 because 50 divided by 50 is just 1. Another way to write it is you can do 50 and 50, which is just equal to 1. But division is fine. Next, the calculated one. So here what you will write is the information that you have here in the box. So copy this. You can also use the scientific notation if you're comfortable using that, but either way, I'm good with it. Okay? All right. And then you also do that. So you divide numbers, the same numbers, then you will just have 1. Okay. And then comparison of the ratios. The ratios are the same, which is 1. Okay, so that's how you answer this table. Do not forget to sketch the beaker here and the beans exactly what you see on the picture. What you can do is, okay, here's a trick for you guys. Here's a trick. Let's go back. Okay, so you don't need to draw the picture if you don't want to print this or you don't have a printer. If you are using Microsoft, you can go to snipping tool. So you can click snipping tool. Put this in your this snipping tool, guys. You click it and then just open the app and then it will be like this. Click new and then you're just gonna crop this picture, right click, copy, and then you can paste it here. Okay, and you can make it smaller. Do the same thing for the rest. So let's just go ahead and continue with the next one. So next is for the pH 6. So it says here pH 6, okay? pH 6. So it says here the black beans will represent H plus, and you are going to add 100 pieces of the black beans to the beaker. So just click that and you have 100 pieces. And then click or tap the bag with white beans and then put 1 in the beaker. As you can see, there's only one navy or one brown bean here. And then same thing, stir it so that the solute will be totally dissolved in a solvent. And then click continue. And so do not forget, go get your snipping tool again and then crop that one, do the same thing and put it here. Okay, so I think that is making your life easier. Okay, all right, so now next thing is you are going to get your ratio. Okay, so here the pH has changed to 6, right? So this is 6. And concentration of hydrogen ions, hydroxide ions. So go back to B. Notice here, 6 for H plus is this number. And then, look at this. They're not the same anymore. This is to the power of -6, and this one is to the power of -8. So definitely they're not the same. Okay, so just copy that and divide these numbers. Whatever number you have here is, you do the same for 6. So you're going to do for your calculated, which is this one. Okay, I'm just going to show it to you real quick. So for your calculated, and then divided by this one right here. Okay, and then your answer, just of course, you need to write your answer down here. Okay, so write your answer there. And for your approximate, how many black beans did you put? 100. Okay, you put 100, and then how many brown beans did you put there? 1. Okay, so there you write down your answer and your comparison. Do that one, I hold you responsible for that. Do the same thing for pH 8. Okay, so that's how you answer your table A and your how to use the table B. Now let's go to basically for table C is the same as well, but this time there's no sketch, but there is an explanation. So you get the concentration of hydrogen ions, concentration of the hydroxide ions from the table. And then you are going to get the ratio and explain. Okay, so follow the steps as well here in this Edgenuity page. Now let us explain one example in table D and how you do table F as well. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, for the next steps, for the next slides, you are going to prepare a diluted solutions called solution A2, A1, A2, A3, B1, and so forth. But I'm just going to go directly to A1 and show you how A1 should be answered, and you do the rest, okay? So let me skip some parts here.
And test predictions about the pH of the other two acidic solutions. Make sure you follow the on-screen directions. Start by predicting the pH of the solutions in beaker A2 and A3.
Okay, so for A2, this is a combination of the lemon juice and water actually. So I'm just going to predict what will be the pH of this. Remember, pH 0 to 7 or 0 to 6 is acidic, 7 is neutral, and then 8 to 14 is basic. So let me just guess. Since this is a combination of water and there's a little lemon here, so maybe I can put, maybe the pH is 3, okay? And then for the indicator strip color, you are going to drag this pH indicator here, and it will give you the change of color. So the color there is orange. And then the indicator strip pH range, you just click the continue, and then it is the same color as number 3 or 4, whichever is close. So looking at here, I would say this is 4. So my prediction was as close as the correct number. Next is for the cabbage indicator. So you are going to do all of these right here, the same process as what I did for A2. Okay? Next is the cabbage indicator, so I'm just going to skip here.
Once the
Here are the solutions that you have prepared. So like I said, do not skip anything. I'm just skipping it just for demonstration purposes. So you're going to you're going to click the beaker and put the solution in the cup. Do the same thing for all of it. So I'm just This is the extract from the cabbage. Cabbage is a good indicator to know that if a certain substance is an acid or a base. So let's see here, drag the flask and pour the cabbage indicators to each of the cup. As you notice, it has changed the colors. So like I mentioned, cabbage is a good indicator if the substance is an acid or a base. So remember, we were working on A2. So the cabbage indicator color is this. How will you describe that? Pale pink or baby pink? So let me see. Pale pink. Oink. So baby pink or pale pink. That's how you answer this table D, and then you just write all the observations that you see here in a short paragraph. Okay. So next we are going to do the last table, which is table E.
Now, you'll use your Cabbage pH indicator solution key to determine the pH of common household solutions. Start by predicting the pH of common household solutions.
Okay, so I'm going to predict the pH. Say strongest acid is 0.1 and then strongest base is 13.14. So let's just say my predicted order is, so I think the strongest acid from this ones is, for example, vinegar. It might be wrong, it might be correct, but I just choose vinegar there. Neutral is water, and then my strongest base, let me see, let me write milk. Again, I might be wrong. Do not copy this answer. This is just an example. Okay, and then as you notice, you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. So that will be for here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 household items. And then next is you're going to get the indicator strip for the color of each four solutions here. You get the pH indicator. I think let's do vinegar. Okay, and then vinegar is orange, so do the indicator strip for all of it. Okay, so say you already have finished everything, so match the color with the strip number in the pH scale and then write your number here. So do the same thing for cabbage indicator. You will put it, you will pour from the beaker to the graduated cylinder to the cup, and then pour in the cup the cabbage, and then write the indicator color and then the indicator pH range. And then you are going to put these substances in order. Like for lowest pH, what's the correct order here? So for example, it is the glass cleaner. Again, I could be wrong. This is just an example. And then next is vinegar, and so on and so forth. And then you are going to match your answer here, the correct order and the predicted order. It could be, you could have different answers here. That's okay. That means you are correcting your answers if you got it wrong here. Okay? Do that one. So lowest pH is from 0, and then highest pH is to 14. And then write down all your observations here. And you are done with this document. You go back to your lesson, go to page 2, and you have here the drop box. You are going to click this. As much as possible, you just submit one file. That's why I created a combination of the student guide and your data sheet all together. And remember, your file name, if you could please write your file name as your first name underscore your last name, just like this one above, underscore the title of the experiment. And then click finish. If you need to redo your portfolio and you will need to submit another document, you cannot submit it here in the Dropbox. Submit it through webmail. Okay. So that is how you answer your lab. And then your questions, like I said, you can write it in a paragraph form. I hope that this video walkthrough is helpful for you. And if it is, please like this video and comment down below if you have more questions. I can definitely answer your questions right away if I see your comment. And if you think this video is really helpful for you to be successful in your lessons, to get better grades in your portfolio, please subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you will be notified of my upcoming videos. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this day, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.